Hello, beautiful, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday. I hope that y'all are having an amazing start to your week, an amazing February, an amazing 2023. Come on in the room. Happy belated Love Day. I hope that y'all enjoyed your Valentine's yesterday, y'all. If you're new to my voice, if you're new to my face, I am Alante Collier, founder of Streamline and Scale Company, where we help experts and organizations famine proof their business, ultimately becoming unaffected by the next economic or environmental disaster. Y'all, today I'm excited to get into today's training. If y'all are tuning in live and catching this on the replay, please let me know. You guys already know what to do. Go ahead and comment down below. Hashtag live, hashtag replay. Today we're going to get into outsourcing 101, and we're really going to get into the arts of outsourcing. Lord, this is one of my favorite topics, especially as those who are getting ready to go from transitioning out of corporate and then transitioning from being that solopreneur into that CEO role, right? Outsourcing, delegation in general is one of those things that can be kind of challenging, can be kind of nerve-wracking, that could bring on a lot of different fears and anxiety. So I first want to do a quick poll and see who all do we have in the room. I want to see who can kind of relate to what I'm getting ready to get into, because I'm just going to tailor this training to you all, okay? But again, if you are watching this live right now, go ahead and comment down below live. Let me know. Hello, Queen. Hello, Miss Reese. Happy Tuesday. Glad to have you here, Queen. Let's go ahead and do a quick poll, y'all. So let me know. Put either a 1, a 2, or a 3 in the comments in the chat box if this applies to you. Put a 1 down below if currently you are a solopreneur, meaning you are crushing things solo dolo in your business. You're wearing all the hats, doing it all yourself. Let me know if that is you. Put a 2 down below if you currently have a VA. It's you and a VA just tag teaming it, right? Or you and an EA, a virtual assistant, or an executive assistant. Put a 2 down below if that applies to you. Put a 3 down below if you currently have a team of 2 or more people. Let me know. 1, 2, or 3. 1, solopreneur. 2 is you and an assistant. 3, you have a team of 2 and more. We have some 1s in the house, okay? I am a 3. I have a team of 2 right now. Let me know, y'all. Let me know, because let's get into it. I'm going to tell y'all a quick story. As y'all are coming on in the room, I'm going to tell y'all how I got started a little bit and how we built this team, because I didn't have a blueprint, y'all. I didn't have someone telling me this is how you bring on your team. This is how you stop your new hires from just going ghost. This is how you lead, how you onboard, how you train them, how you manage them with accountability, all this good stuff. I had to figure all this shit out, trial and error over 2 years. And I want to save y'all the time, the energy, and the money that I wasted from not knowing this information, okay? So a lot of you guys already know my story. I'm not going to go through the whole thing for the sake of time, but we launched the business back in May 2020. For the first time, when I launched the business for the very first time, it flopped. I went back to the drawing board because I skipped steps, never skip steps. So after doing everything that I needed to, we relaunched back in September. Things were kicking off, got the business off the ground, got the clients, cash flow, things were great, right? About a year later, April 2021, that's when I hired my very first team member. And my very first hire, y'all, was a virtual assistant. And it was from, if y'all know Ripple VAs, I love talking about Ripple VAs because that was who I went to get my VA. And they have this thing. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with virtual assistant agencies, right? But back then they were doing this like trial period where they kind of match you with the VA that could, do whatever it is that you need them to do. The first person they matched me with, y'all, was just like the person from hell. I was like, oh my God, it's just what am I doing? Am I no, like they're just not getting it. We're not vibing right. And I was just kind of freaking out, right? And so that kind of brought all these different kind of fears and limiting beliefs to me because getting ready to go from solopreneur to CEO, you already are in your head about, okay, I'm getting ready to bring on a team member. Can I actually afford to sustain this team member if I hire this person this month? Will I have to fire them next month? Right? When I bring this team member on board, can I lead them effectively? Can I make sure that they're not going to damage my reputation, damage my business? Right? Is it going to take me more time and energy to get them up to speed, to train? There's so much that came with it. Luckily, that agency partnered me with an amazing VA to start off with after the first trial period, and so that is how that went. And I like to stop here because oftentimes, as we're going from solopreneur to CEO and building the team, we immediately think that our first hire needs to be in a virtual assistant, right? Put a two down below if that's you. If you've ever had this thought that, okay, I know that I'm ready to bring someone on board, I'm tired of wearing all the hats to my business, I need a VA. Put it two down below if that's ever been your mindset, your default mindset, because I know in this online space, as a coach, as a consultant, that's what a lot of people practice and preach. But I'm one of those people who don't necessarily believe that there's a cookie cutter way to building your team, to finding that first or next hire for your business. And here's the thing too, y'all, whether you hire a VA, whether you hire an appointment setter, whether you hire a social media manager, whatever position you're seeking to hire, when they're an expert in their field, we sometimes think that, oh, I'm just going to hire this expert, bring this person on board, and they're just going to go ahead and just take care of what, all the tasks that I don't want to do. Yes and no, right? There's an art, there's a method to the madness because there's certain expectations that come with being a CEO who's building a team, with being an entrepreneur who's building a team. First and foremost, y'all, whenever you hire an expert into your business, meaning someone has experience, they have the natural skill set, the gifts, the talents to do the tasks that are needed to be done, even though they're an expert, they're still looking to you, CEO, for leadership, right? Because let's say, for example, starting with the VA to keep things very simple, a VA for my business will look very different for a VA for your business because I'm in a different industry. My audience is different. My clients are different. My services are different. My brand is different, right? So it's kind of like everything is so different and tailored to the point where you can bring on an expert, but you still have to be in a position to lead them accordingly. So before I hired my first VA, my first team member, I wanted to learn all the parts of my business. I wanted to learn my processes. I wanted to have processes in place, first of all, that were tested, tried, and true. Because if I bring someone on board and I don't have any processes, I'm just wasting money. I'm just bringing them on board and we're just tweaking and testing and trialing and just trying to figure shit out together. And we don't have the budget for that when you're first starting off, right? So I like to say before you even start thinking about bringing someone on board, make sure that you have processes in place, meaning you know how to market, right? You've created demand in the marketplace. You know how to generate leads. You know how to nurture those leads. You know how to convert those leads, right? You have a marketing process. You have a sales process, right? You have a process of how you handle your admin, right? All these different things matter because when you're bringing someone on board, onto your team, all they're doing is taking your process and making it better. They're taking it to the next level, okay? It's the first thing I want to say. Whenever you're bringing on an expert, even though they're an expert in their field, don't have the mindset, oh, okay, they can do this on their own. They don't really need me every day. Like, yes, they're still looking to you for leadership because you're still the one who's in control of the business. You're still the one who has to teach them about the industry, teach them about your audience, teach them about your clients, teach them about your community, teach them about your brand, right? Which brings me to number two. This is probably the most important thing, right? Whenever I interview people that I'm getting ready to bring on board, my very first thing is I want to make sure that we're all in alignment with the core values of the business, right? So if you've never really thought about values for your business, for yourself, let's first start with you, right? What are some of the values of what you stand for? Right? Like for me, I know that number one, divine alignment is so near and dear to my heart that everyone that I'm connected to, I want to be sure that we're all in divine alignment. We're all doing what we're supposed to do. We all know what our assignment is on this earth, on this planet, and we're fulfilling that, right? So take a really good look and kind of write down 3 to 5 core values that you stand for, that your business stands for, so that when you're getting ready to hire someone and interview people, you can see if the vibe fits. Because if they're not in alignment with the core values of what you and your business stand for, there's going to be a disconnect. Right. And there's going to be a high chance of, yes, turnover, but also there's going to be a high chance of a culture misfit that can lead to so much more damage down the road that you don't yet foresee because you're still at the beginning of getting your business off the ground. Okay. Y'all are quiet. Put a 4 down below if y'all are still with me, if you're understanding what I'm saying. Right now, I'm talking about core values. You're hiring people, bringing people on board, right? Having your core values in alignment, everyone on board, knowing what the core values are key, right? Not just that, but also the mission, the vision, right? What is the mission of the business? Where is the business headed? What's the vision that you have for your business? Because you guys know, without a vision, you're just kind of in the car with no destination, just cruising and rolling and riding. We don't really know where we're headed, right? If you're in the business of making an impact and breaking these generational curses and building generational wealth, you must understand and have clear cut values of what your business stands on. You must be very clear as to what your mission is, how you contribute to this world, and also where you guys are headed to, right? Our mission for the agency is to bridge this global wealth gap. That's why we created this time rich CEO community, and we love circulating the wealth. The vision that we have for the agency is to be the go-to full service operations management agency, because I know from working with agencies before, from my clients having different agencies and being a part of agencies, they don't necessarily get a good rep in the industry. I want to change that, right? So once you have clear values, a clear mission, a clear vision, then you can communicate, then you can have better interviews and bring better quality people on board. So that one of my favorite questions is, what's your personal mission in this world, right? Outside of work, what are you working on? Because I also want to support my team members in whatever endeavors they have outside of the business, because at the end of the day, yes, we're here to do work, but also I'm here to support you to your next level. How can I contribute to you? Okay. You guys said, oh, yes, so good, good. You guys got this. Beautiful. Got this. Beautiful, beautiful. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Some other things that, your team members, your new hires are going to have expectations of when they're getting ready to join your team is, okay, they're an expert in their field. They know your core values, your mission and your vision and what you stand for. Now, what's the process look like, right? We need some kind of clear instructions of how to do this particular job. They may already know how to do a job, but again, your processes are tested, tried and true. They're already working for you, and you're ready to outsource and delegate that. So let's see, how can we put this into an SOP, a standard operating procedure, or how can we put together a task list, a step-by-step list of how to get this task done? Because the worst thing that you would want to do is you bring on a VA or you bring on someone onto your team, and now you find yourself working even more hours, right, than you want to. You still find yourself still doing some of the tasks that you don't want to do when you brought someone onto your team. How do you eliminate that? You have an SOP, you have something documented that they can follow, right, every single day to make sure that they're doing the job the way that they need to, and they're just making it better. And this will eliminate any distractions of maybe they have questions, or maybe without something documented, they're just texting you and calling you every day, trying to figure out how to get this task done. And now you find yourself, all these distractions are now steering you away from your income generating things that you need to do for your business. Okay. That's very That is so very key. Clear directions will help eliminate any guesswork and will help eliminate any distractions that you will have in your workday. Okay. A couple of other things that I have here is synergy. Synergy is important. It's important too, because in your interviews, right? Some of the things outside of what I'm asking, what your personal mission is, what are you naturally gifted in, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses? I want to see how can we all, make the puzzle fit together. When I'm getting ready to hire someone, I already know what my weaknesses are because I'm typically dropping the ball in something, right? So I'm very clear on what my weaknesses are. I want to know what are their strengths because as I'm interviewing people, whatever their strengths are, that can match up with what I'm weaker in. That way I can, okay, this could be someone that could be a great fit. Let me make sure they have the same values. Let me make sure they understand the mission and the vision of where we're headed. Let me make sure they have the experience, the history of doing this stuff, right? So again, this can lead to not having that turnover or your team members just ghosting you soon after the onboarding process. All of these different things matter because when you're bringing on these people onto your team, what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to increase productivity. We're wanting to increase profits, right? That's the whole point of delegating. Of course, when you first bring on a team member, a VA, or whatever your next hire is going to be, there's going to be a period of time where maybe the first 30 to 60 days it's a little bit slower. You have to train them up to speed. You have to get them, to the point where, okay, they're ready to do things on their own without you, having to shadow them or whatever that could look like. Right. But at the end of the day, y'all, when it comes to outsourcing, the goal is to have the right people in your position in place so that your business can run like a seamless, well-oiled machine, right? Let me ask you guys that. When you're getting ready to hire people, when you're getting ready to start, bringing on your first and next team member, what are some of your goals that you have for your team members, for the business? Why are you looking to outsource? Why are you looking to delegate? Is it because you are just working too many hours? You just don't have time to do what you want to do? Is it because it's taking you away from the fun parts of the business that you rather spend your time doing? Is it because the business is taking you away from family and friends? What are your personal goals that you have when it comes to outsourcing and delegating, y'all? Let me know. And then in a minute, I'll give you some 3 action steps that you guys can use today so that going forward, it's very easy for you to figure out, okay, what task am I dropping the ball at? Who is the person I should be looking at to fill this position? And when is a good time to hire them? We'll go over that in a second. But what are some of your goals that you guys have when you're looking to outsource and build your team? Let's talk about it, y'all. And as you guys are typing, I want to do a quick recap of what I just kind of talked about. So when it comes to hiring team members, right? First, there's expectations, whether it's said or unsaid, that you may not know or you may already know, but I just want to reiterate that your team members will have when they're getting ready to join your team. They want to know, what do you stand for? Where are we headed? What impact do you guys have? What is your market share, right, in the marketplace? What does their day-to-day look like, right? If you guys have never had an interview before, they're probably asking you, okay, so what does a day in this position look like? What kind of tasks am I going to be doing? Have something documented, right? What else do we have here? They're also going to be looking for you to lead them and guide them as the leader, as the CEO, because yes, they're an expert in their craft, but they still need to be told what to do, how to do it, and tailor it to your business, your industry, your audience. Gilda says, takes away from the fun things I enjoy in my business. It removes me from being creative. It removes me from being in my creative space. Yes. Yes, yes. I just got off of an amazing call earlier today. And one of the questions that she asked me was, what was my mindset? Like, why was I looking to outsource and build my team back then? And I told her, listen, I'm a workaholic. If it was up to me, y'all, I would be working all day, every day. And I know that's not healthy because eventually it's going to be a detriment to your success. And I said, it got to the point where back then I was in a relationship. It got to the point where my own partner didn't get to see me throughout the day. My family barely heard from me. I didn't have a social life. I didn't take care of myself because I was chained to my business and I was chained to my desk. And I just wanted to work, 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 work. Right. And eventually that's going to keep you stagnant. You're going to hit an income ceiling and it's going to stop you from growing and scaling your business at the rate that you want to grow and scale. So this is where outsourcing and all these different things plays a part. So now let's get into 3 action steps that you guys can do going forward so that outsourcing becomes less of a headache. It alleviates that nervous breakdown that you may have, some limiting beliefs and some fears that you may have. So how many of you guys have heard of something called a buyback rate? A buyback rate is pretty much your rate of what you get paid to do the work that you do for your business. Okay. And hopefully I can type this and hopefully you guys can see this when I type this in the chat box. But your buyback rate is going to be the amount that your company is paying you divided by the number of hours that you work. And this is on an annual basis, okay? So let's say, for example, you get paid, let's say maybe 80K in your business. And if you're working full time and you take, typically a 2-week vacation, that's about 2,000 hours each and every year, okay? So you take what your business is paying you, 80K, divide that by 2K, that's $40 an hour. That's your current rate, right? So I highly recommend if you don't know what your buyback rate is, start here. Really understand what right now is the rate that you're currently getting paid, because this will let you know what tasks you're currently doing that's either costing the business or is making the business money. Okay. So again, you take what your company is paying you each and every year and you divide that by however many hours you're working each and every year. Okay? If you're working full time, just keep it standard. 40 hours a week for about 40 hours a week for about 50 weeks, right? 2-week vacation, that's 2,000 hours. So whatever you're getting paid annually, divide that by 2,000, that's your buyback rate. The next step is to see what in your business is costing you money, what in your business is making you money. And if you guys don't know this, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through this sheet that I created. It's a template. It's an outsourcing score sheet that will help you identify what tasks you're currently doing that's either costing the business money or is making the business money. Okay. And if you guys want a copy of this template, just comment down below outsource and I will gladly send over this free template. It is all yours. Hopefully you guys can share my screen. Should not share my screen. Hopefully you guys can see my screen in a second when I get ready to share it. Okay, so this is an outsourcing score sheet. And whether you have this template or not, you guys can go along and follow this too. Let's take out a sheet of paper. You guys can do this. But if you want this template, just comment down below outsource and it's yours. But what you're going to do is you are first going to write down a list of tasks that you do every day for your business, that you do every week for your business, every month for your business, all of the tasks that you're currently doing for your business. Go ahead and write down a list. Write this down. Right? Awareness is the first step. So write down everything that you're doing to run your business, whether that's you're hosting live events like master classes and webinars and workshops, or you're doing content marketing where you're pushing out written posts, or you're going live, or you're pushing out reels, or stories, right? Whether you're sending invoices, sending contracts, sending proposals, write down all of the tasks that you're doing for your business. After you write down those tasks, we're going to go through a 4-step scoring system. And this will let you know, okay, do I need to outsource? Do I need to automate this? Do I need to eliminate this? This is how we're going to figure this out. So after you write down all of your tasks, now we're going to rate each task by either what we like, what we love doing, or what we loathe doing. So like is tasks that you don't mind doing it, you know it needs to get done, you don't mind doing it, but it's not how you want to spend your time. Love is pretty self-explanatory. It's something you would do for free. You love doing it. If you could, you would do it every day for your business. Loathe are those tasks that you know it has to get done, but you don't necessarily like doing that. Right? So after you write down all of your tasks, now figure out whether you like it, you love it, or you loathe it. Rate that. After you do that, now we're going to figure out how long does it take you to do this particular task. And all of these it has 3 options. So it's either going to take you less than 30 minutes to get done. It's going to take you more than 30 minutes, but less than an hour to get done. Or it's going to take you over an hour to get done. So for example, hosting a live event, like if it's a masterclass, that could be less than an hour, or that could be more than an hour. That could be 60 to 90 minutes, depending on what kind of live event you have. When it comes to content marketing, that could take you less than an hour to plan out your content for the week or to push out content each day. When you're sending invoices, this typically takes less than 30 minutes to complete. So write down how long it takes you to complete that specific task. We have 2 more steps in the scoring system. After you rate your task, after you figure out how long it takes you to get it done, now let's go ahead and figure out what level of skill set does this require to complete this task. Hosting a live event typically is like a conversion event. So at the end of the event, you're probably pitching some kind of offer. This is a high level skill set that typically the CEO is doing, right? The face of the company is doing. Content marketing, right? That's something a social media manager can do. It's not necessarily something a VA can do. So this is a middle level skill set. Sending invoices, right? This is pretty easy. That's something that a VA could easily do. That's a low level skill set. So for all of the tasks that you have, go ahead and figure out what level of skill set does this require to get done. And the last step is now let's figure out how much does it typically cost to complete this task. Hosting a live event, there's a lot of time and energy and strategy that goes into hosting a live conversion event. That's a higher cost. Content marketing, right? It doesn't necessarily cost as much as hosting a live event, but it definitely costs a little bit more than sending emails and contracts and invoices. And then sending invoices and things like that doesn't really cost that much to get it done. Okay. So once, and I'm going through this really quickly because I just want to show you guys how to use this sheet. And then you're more than welcome to come back to this video and complete this score sheet, because if you don't already know what task that you're doing that's costing the business or making the business done, this is something that eventually you will have to do. Don't skip this step or you will continue being the bottleneck in your business, okay? So once you're done, we're going to score this. And the lower the score, the better. So anything that has a score of 4 and below can typically be done and can continue being done by the CEO. Anything with a score of 5 and higher, I highly recommend you either eliminate this if it's not serving the company, you outsource this, or you find a way to automate this, okay? So we're going to go through one example right here, and we're going to go through and use this scoring sheet down here below. So again, there's 4 steps in this scoring system, and all of the scoring system has 3 options. So it either has 1 point, 2 points, or 3 points. So the example that I'm going to work with is sending invoices. So sending invoices is something that for me, like I like sending invoices. I like getting paid. Absolutely. It's not something I rather love doing and would like to do every single day for the business, but I don't mind it. So since that has a rate of like, I'm going to give that, okay, that's a score of 2. It takes less than 30 minutes to get done, so that has a point factor of 1. The skill set that it requires to send an invoice is a very low skill set. So that has a skill set of number 3, or it has a point factor of number 3 of 3. And then it's a low cost of sending invoices. So because it's a low cost, that also has a point value of 3. So do you notice how sending invoices has a score of 9? So this lets you know, keep in mind, anything 4 and below can continue being done by the CEO. Anything 5 and up, let's see, is this something that's serving the company? If so, okay, we may not need to eliminate this, but we can either automate it or we can outsource it. So for sending invoices, I know I'm partnered with Debsato. Shout out to, shameless plug, Debsato. Debsato can automate sending invoices easily. So with something like this, I'm just going to say we can just automate this bad boy. Content marketing, this isn't necessarily something that can be automated, but if you go through a similar scoring system and maybe you don't necessarily like pushing out content and creating content, maybe it takes you less than an hour to do. It's a medium skill set and it has a medium cost factor, but the score is 9. Since you can eliminate this because content plus conversations equals cash flow, this is something that we may have to look at outsourcing. So I'm going to highlight this, right? And so what you're going to do is just going to go through all of the tasks that you have listed down here that you do for your company. You're going to figure out what can be automated. Maybe you can, put everything that can be automated in red. And then everything that you need to outsource, maybe you can highlight that. And then eventually you'll see that there's a list of tasks here that's going to be highlighted that can be outsourced. And this is how you figure out what in your business, or this is how you figure out what your first or next hire is going to be. Okay, let me come back to the chat to see if you guys are still following me. Oh, hopefully y'all can see the screen. Okay, hopefully that's better. But yeah, you're gonna go through in this scoring sheet and write down all these different tasks. Go through the scoring sheet or factor, whatever you want to call it, and figure out, if it has a higher score, can you eliminate it? Okay, if not, can you automate it? If not, can you outsource it? Yes. All of the tasks that has a higher score that can be outsourced, this is going to open up a position. This is going to create this position of do you need to look for that can handle all of these tasks that you may not like doing, you may loathe doing. It takes you a little bit longer to complete. It doesn't require high level skill set and it doesn't really cost that much. This is how you start figuring out what your first position or what your next hire is going to be. Okay. Again, if you want a copy of this template, y'all comment down below the word outsource and I will happily send this template over. But this is it. So once you figure out what your buyback rate is, once you go through this outsourcing score sheet and you figure out what tasks are costing the business or what tasks are helping you make money in the business, right? Then this will go ahead and help you create your position of what you need to be looking for when you get ready to hire, when you get ready to figure out what tasks you need to outsource. Okay? Let me know if y'all have any questions, any comments, any concerns over that. I hope that this has been helpful for y'all. Hopefully this will help eliminate the guesswork of figuring out, who do I need to look for in my company or who do I need to look for to bring on to my company so that I can stop doing all the things and stop wearing all the hats and I can focus on being chief visionary and do the tasks that I love doing and outsource the rest. This is what I teach all day, every day with my clients. So again, if you want a copy of this template, comment down below the word outsource. If you're like, girl, this is all amazing, but I don't want to have to figure this shit out on my own. I need you to figure it out. I need you to help me figure out who I need to hire and help me create my SOPs and help me, source, hire, onboard, train, and manage them. This is a service that we do with the company, Streamline and Scale. So if you're interested in that, you're wanting to go ahead and have a call and have us work with you to build out your team management system, comment down below the word call And if you're more so interested in, I haven't announced this yet, but later on, we're going to be announcing our masterclasses happening next Wednesday. That is called Escape the Feast or Famine Cycle for Good. If you're interested in that, comment down below the word class. And we'll go ahead and send you some information over that, okay? Outside of that, y'all, I hope that y'all have an amazing rest of your Wednesday, your weekend ahead, and we will chat soon, y'all. Bye.